Hey everybody, Frank here, back with the final review for the Giant Kokju series, issue 3. Now I've reviewed issue 1, I reviewed issue 2, and now here we are again. So where we last left off, the Kaiju was destroying San Francisco, and Frank had gotten into his giant robot project that he had worked on years with his partner Shigeru. And the robot's name is Vindicator 5, back in action right now, guys. So let me give a little quick review before I get into the details of this. Jerry Dugan, Scott Koblish, Hi-Fi, Joe Sabino all did a really great job with this series. My personal favorite of the issues was this one and the first one. I liked the first two. The second one, I felt like the story got rushed along quickly to get to this conclusion. And even this is a quick ending. It was only a 3-issue series, and the comic book lengths are only your standard length comic books. It wasn't a longer comic whatsoever, so they had to cram it all in there in 3 issues. So it's nothing against the writing, it's just the size that the series was. But overall, I really enjoyed the series, really funny. It's basically, at the end of the day, it's about a horny kaiju going around San Francisco, banging buildings and crapping everywhere, and just literally screwing things up. So at this point of the review, if you haven't seen this already, it's super M-rated. There's a lot of penis jokes in here. So if you're a kid watching this, you should probably turn this off now as I get into the story. So, like I said, where we last left off, Frank is piloting the Vindicator 5. Shigeru's kind of in his ears, communicating with him. We learn that these horns are sort of the antenna. So he flies into the city, starts battling, and everybody gets really excited. Fighting the monster. Obviously, you see here the train's blocking his junk. The monster still has a hard-on the whole time. Which we see down here, monster junk. Luckily, it doesn't look too much like a real one, so hopefully I don't get in trouble with YouTube here for showing you guys this. Monster spits out his acid that's causing people to burn. We see a couple in an alleyway. As we saw in issue 2, the monster's giving off pheromones that are causing people to uncontrollably have sex in public. So these two are in the alleyway. These two mini kaiju come out of nowhere and begin attacking this couple. So they're in the alley. The crap kaiju sneak up on them. She pulls out the guy's gun, shoots them, but they're too late. And then the SWAT team seems to come right after the monsters. You get the two of them. They shoot up the monsters. And we see that Frank is not doing good against the kaiju here. He's literally getting railed in the back by the monster. He's fighting, and she loses communication with Shigeru when the monster rips off his horns, and in the last ditch effort, Frank goes, you know what, screw this monster, I'm gonna rip his dick off. And he puts this like pulse thing on it. He can't see what's going on. He's lost all communication, and he's managed to attach that somehow, and begins just kind of pumping away at the kaiju. He thinks he's ripping the monster's junk off, but everybody else is appalled except Shigeru, who you can see here, who is like, yes, yes. And then Frank's wife is here with the kids, and she pulls up to the fight, and like, what's Daddy doing? And they go look, and she covers the kid's eyes. She's like, don't look. And he kind of gives him a call prior to the arrival of the scene, and is like, listen, I don't think I'm gonna make it. He's like, I'm about to do the last ditch effort. to kill this thing, and she's like, "You paid your life insurance, right?" And this is ex-wife at the time, but we'll see what happens at the end here. The monster, well, finishes the job here and sprays everywhere. It's all sparkly. He's got a big grin and returns back to the ocean. Frank survived. He's like, "Oh, I survived." He climbs out. He's like, "What is this?" He's like, "This kaiju's got really weird blood. What is this?" He's like, "Where's the body?" And then his wife and kids show up there, and the wife goes, "What made you jerk it off?" And he goes, "What? I did what now?" And she's like, and he's like, "I don't know what you thought you were doing." He's like, "I thought I was fighting." And he's like, "Well," she's like, "Well, you sure worked its bag." He's like, "Okay, let me just enjoy the moment, please." He's like, "Well, you wouldn't be the only one that did, believe me." And he's like, "All right, enough, I get it." And she keeps going. He's like, "Come on, not in front of the kids." And the kids are like, "We saw it, Daddy." And the older daughter's like, "Yeah, we're going to learn about it in school one day." And then it goes, the end. And we get the ginormous Kokju. We get the whole crew listed here. And then we get a kind of post-credit scene here. The Kaiju goes back to the ocean. They're like, "Oh, it sung a song and we don't know what it said." And basically it goes back to the ocean and tells its fellow Kaiju that the humans built a giant sex robot for them. And out they come in the ocean, all with rods hard on, and they return to terrorize San Francisco. And then it cuts to these two here, who I'm assuming is supposed to be, say, Joe and Hi-Fi, and here they go. I'm assuming it's supposed to be Jerry and Scott. And like Joe and Hi-Fi said no, which are the colorist and the letterist, and they go, "Comics, they'll break your heart," and they go, "But not if we break comics' heart first. That's not how it works, but whatever." And then they go, "I think I'm ready to draw a serious comic next." And then they go, "Oh, cool, yeah. Maybe ongoing from Image in 2023." And they go, "Sounds good." And then they do a little dedication to Candyman and Iceman, who were the two pilots from the previous issue. So it sounds like we may be having a Giant Kokju ongoing series later in the year, or something maybe up the alley of this from Dugan and Koblish, Jerry Dugan and Scott Koblish. Maybe we'll be seeing more. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I wasn't a big fan of issue 2 personally, but altogether I liked issue 1 and 3, and it all came together very well in the end. No pun intended, but it happened there. But yeah, the Giant Kokju, pick it up. If not, I believe the trade paperback is coming out for this sometime later this year. I'll add the deets on that later on for you guys. We're always doing our weekly comic releases, so you'll catch it in there. But thanks for watching, and let me know what you think if you've read this series.